Hey guys, welcome back to our series on different morphs. Let's take a look at another one of our snakes. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris.
I'm Carly.
And this is CNC Reptiles. We are a father and daughter's team that just really enjoy keeping ball pythons and sharing our experiences here on YouTube.
And if you're new, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell.
Hit the bell. That really does help us, guys, promote us on YouTube so other people can see our content as well. And so, guys, if you check the thumbnail out, you kind of know who we're looking at today. And if you've been with us for a while, you've seen this girl a couple of times. But today we are looking at Peanut. We actually wanted to give her own video because she is the only one in our clan of ball pythons that has multiple different genes. So if you think about it, all of our ball pythons are recessive, which means they at least have two copies of the same gene, right? The recessive gene. You got to have the mom and the dad have the copy and pass on to get the visual representation. But Peanut is the only one that also carries along some incomplete dominant genes. And so we really wanted to take a second, take a look at not just her recessive, which is Ghost, but also take a look at each one of these incomplete dominants and kind of how they interact with each other and how they make Peanut look like Peanut. So what do you say? Let's head outside. Let's take a little bit closer look at our butter enchi pastel Ghost. All right, so here is Peanut. So as we said earlier, Peanut is our only animal that has multiple different genes. So if you think about it, all of our animals have a recessive, so there's at least two copies of the same gene. Peanut is the only one that actually has additional genes to that. So first and foremost, we got Peanut from PYTHON Morphs. Rick Silver over there, great guy to work with. She came from a champagne ghost or hypo in a butter enchi super pastel het ghost. So let's get into the recessive piece first. So the ghost or hypomelanistic, ghost is kind of the more common name. First of all, gives the always in shed look, kind of a faded out look. What it actually does is it's stripping away of all the black pigmentation. So you can see that this snake has no black pigmentation like you would see in many of the other snakes, especially normals. So as far as that goes, see if I can get her to stay still here. This was first produced, the ghost gene was first produced by Nerd back in 1997. So that's New England Reptile Distributors. Kevin McCurley first produced the ghost gene. As I said, reduces the black pigment, and there's varied lines of ghost, all very similar in what they do as far as reducing the black pigmentation, but some different colorations in them. So Peanut here happens to be of the orange ghost line. There are others that are brown, gray, green pigmentations. You can see Peanut here is much more yellow, and the orange ghost can give an orange tint as well. But some of the other genes at play here are really what's giving her this yellow appearance. If I can get her to stay still. So let's talk about those. As I stated earlier, she's the only one that's got multiple genes, multiple different genes. So the first one is actually butter. Now this is also commonly known as lesser. Most people consider them to be the same gene, although technically they were from two separate bloodlines of wild-caught snakes. Now what the lesser does, or butter, I should say, was first produced by Reptile Industries. That was back in 2001, so almost 20 years ago. Hang on now, come here. What it's going to do, I do believe it's got a slight pattern change, but what it really actually does is it gives the snake these yellow tones with kind of a caramel background. You can see right here along the back on her dorsal here, that's where you get some of the really nice caramel tones that come in. And the other genes at work really pronounce the yellow colors that you're seeing as well. So lesser is one that's going to give you kind of a nice yellow with, again, kind of the caramely brown background that you're seeing right here. The second gene at play is enchi. Now, enchi, much like butter, been around for a long time. So this was first produced, come here, by Subal back in 2003. Now, an interesting thing about that is they were actually looking for genes for a different project, and they got kind of a grab bag out of Ghana. And in that bag, there was a male and a female, looked very similar, but very, very different from everything else in the bag. These happen to be the first two enchis. In 2003, they paired the male with the female, as well as some other females that they had, and produced the first enchis. Actually produced the first super enchis a year later. So what does enchi do? Now, enchi is very much a pattern reducing gene. So all of the pattern that is different from a normal here, enchi is the predominant gene that's impacting that pattern. Really reduces the pattern in any combination that it's in. And you can see along the sides, it's going to be some blushing up the sides, some yellow orangish blushing up the side that we can see right there. But primarily is going to be a pattern reducing gene. So let's talk about the last gene now. That's pastel. Again, a gene that has been around for a very long time, produced by Nerd back in 1997. So Kevin McCurley and those guys again, producing some really awesome stuff. Now pastel, again, is going to help with this orange pigment. So we've got the lesser, or the butter, and the pastel really helping with the orange pigment here, or yellow pigment, I should say. We've got the enchi helping with the reduction of the pattern. Now, if I can get her to hold still, here on the head, telltale sign of pastel is a very, very blushed out head. You can see right there. Also, if I can get her to hold still, she's not going to hold still, but they have green eyes. So most all of your pastels are going to have lighter eyes. She happens to have very, very green eyes, which is a very interesting trait. All right. And then, of course, like I said, come here. This is going to come in various lines as well. Some are much more bright than others. Really just kind of depends on the line that you get. And let's talk about the super forms right now. So when we talk about pastel, it's hard for me to tell if this is a single gene pastel or if that's just the ghost at play, because her head is so blushed out. You don't normally see a very blushed out head like that. It's really more indicative of the super pastels that I've seen. But there's nothing in the breeding that said that she would have been super pastel. The super pastel was only on one side. There was no pastel in the male. So not necessarily a reason to believe that, other than her head's just really, really blushed out. Super enchi. So again, with the pattern reducing aspect of enchi, a super enchi is just that much more reduced. You really get no striping. You get some banding in super enchis, but really, like I said, no alien heads to really speak of. Oh, there she goes. And enchi also produces, if you can see right there, that the eye stripe actually goes through the eye. So instead of just kind of coming around the eye, you can actually see it go right through the eye there. Really cool stuff. And then probably the most interesting super is going to be the butter part of this equation, where if you get a super butter is part of the bell complex, so you would actually get an all white snake. So if I were to breed Peanut here to a butter male, there's a potential I would get an all white snake. Now the interesting thing is that's really cool. All white snakes are really beautiful, but she could also have pastel and enchi in, but because she would be all white, well, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't actually be able to see any of the pattern or any of the other color because you produced an all white snake. So she is really kind of squirming right now. So again, guys, just taking a look at how beautiful she is out here in the sun. Look at that. Beautiful yellows, caramel browns on top. And then of course, just that nice blushed out ghost appearance. Hey guys, all right, so there you go. So just, I tell you again, and I said this in the last video, but out in the sun, their colors, man, they're just so much more vibrant. Really shows you how beautiful that these snakes can be. So wanted to end this video with one of Carly's fun facts. And you know, we've been showing you all of our snakes right after they shed. That's when they look the most beautiful, when their colors are the most vibrant. Carly actually has a fun fact about shedding. So Carly, what's your fun fact?
Okay, let me get in position here. So I have two different sheds here. Some sheds can have just a regular shed, doesn't have any color, any pattern.
Yeah, let's see. Let me get that up close here so maybe
that one, I think, is Angel, right?
Yeah, it's Angel shed. And you can see there's really no pattern to speak of there, right? Okay, so there's one shed.
And then we got Kalahari's, which there's a little bit of pattern in
Yeah,
there.
you can actually really see Kalahari shed, can't you? So you can see, let me see. Maybe you can see that. Oh, maybe if I put my hand up to it. That's the belly. There we go. You can really see the pattern there, right? So some of our snakes really have some cool pattern that actually comes off in the shed, right? And some don't. So really kind of interesting. We really noticed that when we got Kalahari and she started shedding. The others don't have a ton, do they? Really kind of clean sheds. You can see some pattern in there. Bubbles has some pattern in hers, but Kalahari's is very distinct. So we're actually going to be taking a look at her in the next video. So you guys, so come back if you want to see the kind of the culmination of this series, where we look at Kalahari, who's our desert ghost, and we take a look at Angel, who's our lavender albino. And so, so guys, that's what. That shed right there. That's right. So, so guys, we appreciate you coming along. Got anything else to add? No? All right, guys. We appreciate you coming. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.